We're going to do some bracket predictions today. Very, very important weekend for all 12 of these teams. But extremely important for 8 of these teams because obviously they're 4 wins away from going to LA to compete for the 55. It's 55? I think it's $55,000. So, yeah. I say we just get right into it, I guess. You guys can play along with me here. Do some predictions. Oh, my Twitch chat's above my image. Hold on. Let me back this up. And then we'll be good to go. I wanted to throw it in front of the other thing, but I don't want it in front of my face. My beautiful face. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's go right into it. I'll probably just crop this out as one giant video for the people that want to watch. Hey, the Turbo Lemon. Thanks for the 50 bits, man. Appreciate it. And, yeah, feel free to chime in as we go along. So, we're going to start off Genesis Selfless. Honestly, this, to me, was my most difficult matchup to choose from because I just don't know what Timmy's going to show up and what Insolences is going to show up. Insolences, for the most part, has been kind of carrying Genesis, I feel like, throughout most of the season. Honestly, he's probably, like, after thinking about it, I was like, Insol's probably, like, my third MVP right now. It probably would have been Jacob, Matt, probably Insol, and then J-Naps, just because of the amount of carry he's been providing for the team. Like, obviously, there's off-the-field issues, like, just not playing in general. They do get scrims in here or there from what I've been told, but just the ability to not be playing on his own to make sure he's staying up to par, which honestly, it hasn't shown. He's been playing really, really well throughout this entire season. And if we go back to the Genesis versus Selfless matchup in week 1, honestly, that was before what we knew what we were getting out of Selfless, but still, I felt like Genesis, that was like, it was all insolences, and Classics and Chrome played extremely passive defense that you're not used to seeing from them at all. And they just looked out of sync completely during that series. And honestly, I thought that was the worst we saw from Genesis maybe this entire season. So I don't think we're going to get that same Genesis again. But one thing I want to check is Insolence's Steam profile. See how many hours he has. I think I have it up here. I just want to refresh. Okay, he's at 16.1 hours the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, it's above 10, which for Insolence's standards might be pretty good. So, I think he'll be on par with just his 16 hours. I don't know what Timmy's going to show up. We've seen Timmy that carries them, kind of like during the Genesis series, had a lot of clutch plays. Then there's been a lot of series where he's just been kind of extremely quiet, which, to be fair, is kind of his role. Normally, it's normally the Dapper Miho show. Just the reason why Selfless has had so much success, I feel like, during this entire season is because of what Timmy has brought to the table. Dapper Miho, kind of a known quantity, while Timmy was kind of unknown. And I think that's what propelled Selfless to the 4-3. They're in the same exact boat as G2. They started out 4-0. They had 3 chances to clinch a top 2 spot. At the time, they didn't know that it'd be clinching a top 2 spot if they would have beat Energy, but it would have now in hindsight. So they've had 3 chances to clinch a top 2 spot. They have failed 3 times in a row. And I think they will fail again here. I think Genesis takes this win. This is a toss-up for me, though. I could see this going 7. I'm going to give it to Genesis in 6. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen here. The box might look a little funky for a second, but that's okay. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't show a winner. Okay, here we go. So I got Genesis there. I think they will move on to the World Championships. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. But Genesis is the hot hand right now compared to Selfless. Like, Genesis played really well the last 2 weeks. Their only loss was to Take 3. And honestly, I'm not saying it's a definite win here. This is probably the set that I think could be the closest. I could see it going 7 games. I want to see Genesis be more aggressive, though, than last time they played. Last time they played, and it was weird. Chrome and Classics literally didn't do anything. They just sat on their side of the field and let Insole just out-dribble Selfless, and then he had no one to pass to. And it kept happening time and time again. Selfless was boost-starving them pretty well. So Genesis has to be a little bit more aggressive on their end to make sure that they're going for their own boost pellets while also trying to control the ball. I think Genesis is the hotter team right now, and I think they will prevail, though. I think it'll be a very, very close set. We could easily see 7, but I'll give it to them in 6. I don't really like saying 7 games a lot because, yeah, I just don't. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. Moving on. Let's go to the G2 Denial series, the rip all of Cosmic Aftershock go into LAN series. This one's unfortunate for me. I would love to see both Sad and Crow obviously go. But again, G2 started out 4-0. They've had 3 chances to make LAN. They have failed all 3 times. Their team looks like it's just collapsing. And honestly, it's kind of been a trend with Kronovi's teams where they start off pretty good. And then we start seeing, which I think is partly Kronovi's fault, of positional play kind of just going away. And it turns into a third man having to be held back. And then they start playing a little bit worse because it's not a normal position in most of Rocket League. This happened with Lachinho. Obviously, they made it work for 2 days at LAN. But besides that, it was getting a little sketchy towards the end there. And then now it's happening with Rizzo, where Kronovi likes to over-rotate. He is the Kronovi factor, and the reason why he is because of those over-rotations, and people don't expect him to be where he is, and he gets some cheeky goals that way. But at the same time, it hampers your third. It's hampering Rizzo right now. Honestly, I always thought G2's biggest weakness was when Rizzo challenges as the third man. He sometimes goes for extremely strange challenges, even in the 2 versus 3. When there's Rizzo and JNaps, and they just sat in goal, they could defend all day. As soon as Rizzo challenged on a play, and JNaps did the same thing here as well, that's when Energy scored, besides the deflection goal in overtime. But the other goal that they had was because they just challenged at weird times, and it cost them there. And Denial, again, some people are going to be sleeping on them. They did play well in their final week. They took out Atelier, and what was their other series? They played Genesis extremely close. It was a very close set. It was probably the best Denial we've seen all season. Again, though, I think a lot of people aren't sold on, is that they're the best? Or, like, is that their normal? Plus, if that was their best, it's not the highest ceiling in the world. So I think people are going to be worried about that. But it's still G2. I think G2 will come out on top here. I don't believe Denial has enough in them to get the win. I think it is good for them that they're playing them like right away. It's not like G2 gets warmed up with a series. So I am going to give this to G2. I think it'll be in 5. I think G2 might run away with it. I'm going to give it to them in 5. No. I'm going to give it to them in 6. It could be a runaway for G2, but Denial can play pretty close to them. It's really going to come down to those early games. If Denial can get that game 1 win, you never know. Things might happen that go a little crazy. But I think G2 will win and move on. It's going to be close, though. And, yeah. What about OC? I'm not doing OC brackets. I don't really know OC all that well. That's more something for Yummy Cheese Man to do. And their tournament's not for like 18 more days. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be Alpha Sydney and Jam Gaming. So there you go. Bracket done. Simple. Moving on. We're going to Energy versus Genesis. Of course, they just played. Genesis just beat them. I believe that was week 5. No, that was week 4. I'm sorry. Week 4. And it was all came down to the demo plays. Like Energy was just not ready for the demo plays from Genesis. Chrome had a field day with them with bumps and demos and all that. I think if Energy can solve that problem of getting demo time and time again, because demos are extremely risky play, I think Energy can win this. I still think they're the best team in North America by far. But I think Genesis is one of those teams when they're peaking, they can beat anyone in North America. So this is like almost a preview of a finals for me here. It could possibly be. I'm going to give this to Energy. I think like Jacobs just been on fire this season. Like he's always been really good, but now his like offensive power has been just insane compared to just passing. And of course, Garrett, I love to talk about how he's been on the best defensive team last season with Orbit and now this season with Energy. A lot of people talk about his offense, but it's really his rotational defense that sets him apart from a lot of these top players. And he does a phenomenal job there. I'm going to say Energy is going to come out strong here. I'm going to go 4-1. I really like Energy. Genesis can surprise too. Like, I think anyone, I think anyone can win this. I don't think Selfless or Denial can win this whole bracket. But I think Genesis, G2, or the other two could win this entire bracket. Genesis is one of those teams that if they're hot, they can easily win it. But I think Energy is going to be ready. They're always ready during playoff time. Have always been. They've actually been pretty poor during league play, at least relative to their accomplishments, and they always show up during the playoffs. We'll see if it's backwards now because they're the number one seed for the first time ever after league play, and we'll see if they can win it again. But yeah, I am going to have to go with Energy here. They just look so good. They look really good. Of course, Genesis just beat them pretty recently. Well, at this point, it's been a month ago. So it was a while ago, but I still like Energy. Genesis can surprise here, though. One thing I want to see from Genesis is Classics needs to get involved somewhere. He's been extremely quiet. I'm going to go check his stats real quick. He's been extremely quiet throughout all the season, all of last season, too. Just like not really doing a ton to get involved on the scoring end. And at the same time, sometimes that's like, all right, like, is their defense good? Like last season, Genesis's defense was pretty solid. But this season, it hasn't really been the same thing. Genesis is, tied for 6th. I'm sorry, not tied for 6th. Just in 6th in overall defense. So last season, like people like to assume that Classics with that offensive pressure of just being a nuisance was helping out the defense. It hasn't helped them at all this season. They're behind. The only people behind them is Set to Destroy and Take 3, the two teams that did not make playoffs. So we'll see. But Genesis has been coming up clutch when they need to. Their save differential is actually positive, as James said on the talk show, which is surprising compared to everyone else that's in the playoffs. They're the only team that save differential is higher, but hey, they're getting it done with shooting percentage. I believe they're pretty high. Yeah, they're second only behind Atelier. So the shooting percentage is good. It's just I want to see Classics. He needs to get more involved if they want a chance to win this bracket. I feel like Chrome's doing his job and Insol's doing his job. I just haven't seen a lot from Classics. And sure, he's doing something here or there, obviously, like in the midfield. But when it comes down to it, you have to score or you can't get scored on. And I want to see Classics get more involved in those two scenarios. We just haven't seen it a lot from him this season. So, someone asked, does G2 Denial Selfless and just only have one to win one round to go to the land? Yes. So this semifinals that you see on the screen here that's who makes it to the World Championships. So they have to win 4 games, best of 7, single elimination. I personally love this way of doing it because then it goes also into it's just one weekend. Everything comes down to this, and I honestly think it's great. And it also gives like the top 2 seeds an extremely important spot where they know that they're guaranteed at least to make it to World Championships and that these other guys are fighting for their lives. They're just one match. I find it a lot of fun. Let me know if you guys like it because I know some people don't like it as much. Let me minimize this shit just a bit. Whoop. There we go. That should be good. Yeah. So we'll see. I just want to see like if Classics can show up in that first series, if he gets rolling, then this series could be a lot closer. But I got Energy there. Moving on to Atelier and G2. Now it's a tale of 2 different teams. Like obviously they played all the way back in week 1, the reverse sweep from G2, and It was a very close set, obviously, and that was when we were like, oh, is Atelier for real? And it turns out they were. To be fair, relatively, because honestly, they finished 4-3. Let's not like get up in arms about being like, oh my god, they did amazing. Like, they finished 4-3 and got lucky with tiebreakers. Let's be perfectly honest here. So like them, Genesis, Selfless, G2, they're all pretty much on par for this season. They just played slightly better. They got a couple extra wins here or there, but honestly, I wouldn't say like, oh, because they got top 2, they're amazing. So, but their offense has been doing extremely well. And I believe their defense has actually been okay as well. Yeah, they're second in defense, way behind Energy, though. Like, Energy is destroying everyone in defense. I think it's a record. They only let 1.16 goals per game. I believe that's a record that's never been done before. And Atelier's behind them at 1.53. Then no one else is even close after that. It's 1.89. And then they're all pretty condensed all the way to 2.15. So those two, by far, the two best defensive teams right now. And honestly, I have to give props out to Sizz. Before qualifiers, I was like, I don't know if they can trust Sizz. They might not do too well. And honestly, I don't think he was playing that well back then. But throughout the season, and some people like to blame the Rizzo for his YouTube stuff. But honestly, I think the Rizzo and Sizz duos that he's been doing a lot with him have actually helped Sizz a ton. I've been seeing him all season long, always playing doubles with someone and just grinding it out. Like, Sizz has been grinding out the season. Honestly, it's really tough to go from season 1 being a part of it in 2 league plays, obviously coming last in both, or at least last in 1. And then, like, going to a sub role, a sub for Turtle's old team. And so basically not playing. Like, he was saying, I haven't really been playing all that much because honestly, you know, a sub role is not really needed. And then he climbs all the way back out, becomes a starter again with his old teammate Matt, and starts performing extremely well. I thought he was extremely shaky early on, but he really picked it up towards the end of the season. And he's like the catalyst, I think, for them, for the reason why they're doing so well. Because if he was more shaky, it would be rough. So Sizz has been putting in the time. I'm actually really happy for him. And Matt, like, obviously, like, I've always been a big fan of Matt. Last season, he was like, he did extremely well for Vendetta. Almost brought them to land after they kept changing rosters and stuff like that. I've always been a big fan of Matt. Even back in season 1, I was saying he could potentially be, I think it was, what, a top 5 player in NA, I said, or top 10, something like that. And he's always showed something for me, and now he's got that team around him where it's really working. And, of course, Turtle, he has all that experience. He's been to back-to-back lands. He's like the calm, cool, and collected type. And, honestly, they just gel really well together. And I'm really happy for them. I didn't even have them making it out of qualifiers, and now they're here, so good on them. Versus G2. This one's really tough. I'm going to say this one is going to be one of those I could see going 7. It depends what G2 we get from Denial. I think G2 can play sloppy and still beat Denial. I don't think they can do the same against Atelier. So I think like this pick could change based on what I see from G2 in the first round. But I'm going to give it to Atelier in this series. We'll go 7 because why not? It'll be fun. I just think Atellier's defense is what's going to hold them up. I think they'll be able to hold down G2 enough, and G2 gives enough freebies away where it could be a little scary for them. G2 is at 1.93 goals per game given up, and then obviously on the offensive end, like Atelier beat out G2 as well, 2.23 to 2.04. So I think Atelier might be able to steal a couple goals here or there, and I think they can take the win. It should be extremely close set. It just depends on what G2 we get before this matchup, which I think could hurt Atelier, because I think G2, if they get warmed up, it could hurt them. So this one could be tough for Atelier because they don't have to play in the first round. Obviously, they're really happy about that because they don't want to have to not be going to the World Championships. But that's what I got right there. For some reason, this is... Oh, there we go. Now populated. All right. Next up, we'll go to the bronze match. Genesis versus G2. This is tough. Another tough one. I think NA like these 4 teams are pretty close. I think Selfless and Denial are the only 2 that can't win this tournament. And so Genesis versus G2. I think I'm going to give this to G2 only for the fact that they just got to play a game right before. And we've seen in North America that warm-up game has actually helped a lot. I think it was something like 13-7. It probably closed down a little bit towards the end there. But I think that's the reason why I will give this to G2. Is G2 gets a little bit of that advantage of just playing before. And that could be the main difference here for this G2 versus Genesis matchup. I think Genesis can beat them. Obviously, they just played in week 5, and Genesis did win that series. But again, when Genesis loses, who knows? Maybe they'll get a little triggered by losing the semis and not really care that much about the bronze match. Very possible. It is a very important match because the 3rd seed will play the 2 seed of Europe, while the 4 seed has to play the OCE number 1 seed. And honestly, if you're a North America team, you do not want to play an OCE number 1 seed because all the pressure's on you. No one wants to lose to OCE. No one wants to be the laughingstock, which I'm not saying is necessarily true, of North America losing to like a tier 2 region or something, like if you want to call it that. So I think this game's kind of important. Of course, in a way, as the 4 seed, if you do get through that number 1 seed of OC, then you got to play the number 1 Europe seed, but they won't. They haven't played a game yet, so in a way that kind of helps you a bit because you'll have the nerves maybe gone a little bit more going into your 2nd match at LAN, so that could help. But I will give it to G2 here. Gibbs, I played just before week 5 and we had a 4-game wait. It's true. It's true, Crow. But, you know, I'm just saying. You guys played well then. I love you, Crow. You could very possibly do it again. But I'm going to give it to G2. But Genesis did come out strong then. That is true. But also G2, it's tough because I think both coming off a loss like immediately, that could change things as well. Because G2 lost their energy, obviously like crap, no more number 1 seed. They're a little down themselves. Genesis, they won their match before. They knew they were in playoffs. You're not playing for as much. There's less pressure on you. Could it matter? Who knows? Who knows? But I'll give it to G2. Again, it's extremely close series. Could go either way. So then Genesis will be the 4 seed. G2 would be the 3 seed. Then Energy versus Tellier. Honestly, I've been hyping up Energy all day. I haven't even talked about them that much because I just think they're that damn good. I'm going to give this to Energy over Atelier. This one might be more convincing. You know what? Let's go for it. I think Energy's going to make a statement here. This is their statement game, like the flip side versus Northern. Statement game for Energy. Energy will take this 4-0 clean sweep over Tellier. For no other reason than I wanted to have one sweep in there. So we'll give it to Energy. I think they'll win it. I think they're just way faster than Atelier, and their defense is way too good. And they won't get caught from the pressure of Atelier where, you know, Sis comes in and closes it. Like, Garrett's too good on the back end to allow that pressure to even get to them, generally. So I think he'll be able to get out of those situations a bunch for Energy. And I think Energy will come out pretty strong. I think that this is a decent matchup for Energy. Courtney in here, a little biased. But I'll go with the blowout for Energy. We'll see what happens there. But that'll do it for North America. We'll get it. Oh, I'm sorry. I scrolled up, I guess, at some point. Or it got cut off for some reason. I don't know why it got cut off. Hold on. I'll fix this for you guys. It doesn't look as bad. I don't know why that got cut off. But yeah, so that's my top 4 seeds right there. We got Energy, Atelier, G2, and Genesis. Actually, their seeds that they've had so far. I think the big matchups are the G2 Atelier series. That one could definitely go either way. And probably the Genesis Selfless series is going to be a tough one as well. But Genesis, is one of those teams that I think if there's anyone like with an outside shot to win this, I'd give it to Genesis. G2, I think, could win this as well if they play Genesis in that final. I think it'll be close. Obviously, they've played close before. But I don't think G2 can beat Energy, so they would have to hope for Genesis to beat Energy. And yeah, that's it for my North America. Let's move over to Europe. If anyone wants to, like a quick Q&A or questions about North America, feel free to throw them out there. Let me know your predictions. Obviously, I'm probably going to be wrong anyway, so it's fine. Chrome's not worried at all about Subways. He said they were an awful team in quals and first 2 weeks of Rlcs. I would agree to an extent that they were not playing all that well. And they've been playing better since, but there's a lot of ups and downs in Rocket League. A lot of teams go up, go down, and then go back up, go back down, so you never know. It's also been a 2-week stretch. That's a big deal because like we haven't really seen these teams play a lot in these past 2 weeks, so depends how much practice they're getting in, but we'll see. Courtney and Chrome now fighting, so we'll see who makes it. We'll see who makes it. All right. If you guys got any other questions for North America, feel free to shout them out in chat, and I'll take them before we move on to Europe. No one is fighting. Not fighting. Whatever. It should be fun, though. The LA LAN. If you guys weren't there last time, honestly, that was the one I had the most fun at, was the last LA LAN. The hotel was a lot of fun with the player lounge and stuff. Hopefully, we get something similar this time around and get to hang out with the players a bit more. Also, my family won't be there, so I'll have a little bit more time to hang out with the players, which is always nice. I like talking with the players and just hanging out with them. So that should be a good time. And we have an extra day of Rocket League, too. It's going to be a 3-day event. So keep that in mind, guys, if you plan on coming or if you plan on watching. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, yeah. Should be good stuff. That means I have to bring out extra clothes. So, that's fun, I guess. I just bought a suit, though. So, that's going to be my Sunday suit. So, do it up. Which player to keep our eyes on this round? Do you mean for the North America side or you mean for Europe? Majesta. All right. Looks like Courtney and Chrome are just like loving each other. It's a loving argument, I guess. All right. Let's move on. Hopefully this one doesn't also... I think this one will also break halfway through, so I'll have to figure that out as we go. For NA Majesta, I think for the Genesis Selfless Series, it'll come down to Timmy. If Timmy goes ham, they have a chance. If he doesn't, they probably don't have a chance. G2 Denial. Maybe if Sad goes ham, then Denial has a chance. Probably the only way. Atelier G, and then like after that, it's kind of like we kind of know what Genesis is all about. If they can get their demo game going, they're looking good. Chrome's been playing well. Insol's been playing well. I want to see Classic step up. And the energy is solid all around. As long as they step up like they normally do, they'll be fine. Atelier, Sizzin Turt, just support Matt where you can. You'll be good to go. And then G2, Kronovi's got to let Rizzo do some more stuff. Let Rizzo and JNAP's connection happen. Let them get some offensive firepower that way. That's how they beat Atelier in their reverse sweep. So they should probably do that again. But we'll see if that actually happens. All right. Moving on. Europe. This one should be fun. Europe's a good time. Gale Force Mock It. As you guys have been listening to me for the past long while. If you watch my qualifying predictions, by the way, I said it would be 5 teams that make land that have a good chance, and I said the leftovers or Resonant as the last spot. I did pretty good at predicting that the leftovers would be at least around here. I didn't think there'd be a 2 seed, but hey, they pulled it out. So even before we start, I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Snasky, I won't root for you anymore because you want us to predict against you. So that's just the way it is. All right. So Gale Force versus Mocket. I think Mocket's going to win the entire land. Easy. Easy win. Easy going. Boom. Let's go. Simple as that. Mocket wins. No, but seriously, I'm extremely worried about Gale Force. When they played against the Leftovers in that Game 5, I think it was the Leftover Series. It might have been the Northern Series as well. I think it was more the Leftover Series. They looked nervous as hell in that last 2 minutes of Game 5. Like, they were just awful. Violent Panda whiffed 8 times. Like, Chaussette was, like, nowhere to be found. Pashy was even making bad plays. And you would think that the nerves wouldn't get to them because 2 of them have been to the grand finals at a land, but they looked extremely nervous as a team last week or 2 weeks ago, and honestly, I'm a little worried. I like Mocket. Fairy Peak still hasn't wowed me yet in the RLCS like he does in community tournaments and such, but he's been getting better and better as the season's gone on, like kind of under the radar. Of course, K-Dop, the MVP, like he's been having a hell of a season. Like Mocket would not be here without K-Dop. He's on the offensive side, the defensive side. He's kind of just everywhere for that team. Leading in, or like 1 goal away from leading in goals and was second in saves. Also had, I think, a decent amount of assists as well. I can't remember his exact spot. Wasn't like too far up there, but I think he was at least, yeah, he was like top 10-ish. He was like 3rd in assists on his team, but that's fine. Mocket's been doing a really good job on the offensive end. And honestly, Gale Force has not been at all in the last few weeks. Their offense has just been trash, I would say. They finished 7th in goals per game at 1.76. They haven't been doing really anything there. Mocket finished in 3rd, just 1 goal behind Northern. Flipside finished 1st. And the one saving grace for Gale Force is they only give up 1.48 goals per game, but Mocket also only gives up 1.78. So Mocket knows how to hold down a team, and Gale Force isn't a strong offensive team to begin with. So if Mocket can get that going early with either Mystic or Fairy Peak just helping out K-Dop on the offensive end, they should be fine. I think they should win this series pretty handily. I'm just going to keep saying that they're going to win LAN even until they're out. So I got Mocket winning this one. I am just like, after last week, Gale Force, with everything on the table left, like they did not look good, and that's just not a good sign. And Mocket, they came out strong. They beat the Leftovers. They destroyed them in Game 5. The only time that the Leftovers lost in Game 5. Again, I wish that series was a little bit better, but and then they beat Resonant as well, pretty handily, if I recall. So I like Mocket here. We'll see. Just Fairy Peak or Mystic has to show up on the offensive side with K-Dop, and they will be fine. Gale Force is not scoring enough to contest that. Violent Panda was carrying that team for a while there, but this last week with the nerves, it just seemed like they were off, way off, and I think that'll continue here, so I got Mocket. Next up, we got Flipside versus Resonant. I don't even want to talk about that series with Flipside and Resonant. That was just abysmal. To be fair, Flipside tactics have only looked like Flipside tactics in one series, I feel like, this entire season, and that was against Gale Force. Besides that, it was like series like sure that they might blow it like Cow Knows eventually or whatever, but they haven't looked all that good, guys, all season long. At some point, do we jump ship and just say they lose? I don't know if that is the time now. I don't think it is the time now, but like they have not looked good this season whatsoever. Still good enough to be top 4, I guess. barely. They should be they're very fortunate they don't have to play Mocket. I'll say that right now. I don't know what to think of Flipside. They get to play Resonant, Scrim Partners. Supposedly they've been going 50-50-ish. Honestly, sure, some people say they threw. Honestly, I just don't think they gave a crap. Like, if they were going to throw, they would have lost that game 4 in overtime. Or, yes. So, I doubt they threw. But Cooks hasn't looked all that great this season at times. And people were saying, oh, he was just missing in that series. Guys, he's been missing it all year. He's been missing a lot of aerials that he normally used to hit. Seems like they're just a little too laid back, maybe. I don't know. But the pressure's on them. I believe they'll win. Resonant, they haven't looked good all season either. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a juicy matchup for Flipside. I don't think it would have mattered if it was Penta either, to be fair. They have never lost to Penta. Besides like 3 months ago, something like that, or 4 months ago. I'll give Resonant 2 wins here. I think Resonant could shock the world, and they could win this series. But we'll see. They started playing pretty well there. Mets was going ham a bit here or there. I think Mets and Magnus have to go a little ham for them to have a good chance here. But Mets went off a bit. Mag went off too in that series. So we'll see. Flipside, obviously, the last time they played, it wasn't. You can't really count that. But I think I got Flipside there 4-2. Next up, Mocket versus Northern. Honestly, I think these are the top 2 teams in Europe, or in the world, I should say. Extremely unfortunate that Maestro will not be at LAN. I am very upset about that. That really sucks for Northern game. And Turbo's a good player, but he's no Maestro. Maestro's like one of the best LAN players there's been ever so far. His stats are absolutely insane. He carried Northern to their 2 third-place finishes. I think it's really going to hurt them at LAN. This series, I think, could go either way, but I give this to Northern. Northern has been playing a lot with Turbo lately to like start getting ready. They might have done that a little too soon, unless Maestro like couldn't have made those tournaments. I still like Northern here. Let's go in 7. I think it'll be a fun series to watch. It depends on how much practice they've been getting in with Maestro. If they haven't been getting in that much, then it could harm them a little bit more. So, but I got Northern here. Yeah. And I think it's very important for them to get the number 1 or number 2 seed. So they play a weaker North America team in their first round with Turbo. Sure, Turbo has LAN experience, but the last time they were at LAN, he didn't do too hot. He came in 7th. So just to get his feet wet, I think it's very important for Northern to get one of these top 2 spots. Obviously, you will make Season 4 league play as well if you make these finals. So that's also very important. So that's nice. I'm not sure how that's going to work because it's supposed to be 2/3 of starters. I would assume it's starters at this event because this is the one where you clinch it. So it would be Maestro, Remco, and Devo, and not Turbo, Devo, and Remco. Since they're going to be playing at LAN. That's where it gets confusing. But I will give it to Northern here. Then leftovers for Flipside. I'm not sold on the leftovers, guys. I'm just not. They're 17-16, 52% win rate. Like, they win clutch game 5s, but like, you gotta win some of these games early. You just gotta. Oh man, I just don't. I just don't know, guys. Like, their one thing they have going for them is they're clutch as hell. But every other stat for them is just like 4th or 5th. Generally, I'm just not sold. I'm not sold. Ugh. You know what? For Snaski's sake, I'm gonna give this to Flipside. I think Flipside will come out after that first series, be warmed up, be ready to go. I think I think flip side can beat the leftovers. We do 4-1. I think flip side comes out strong, and this is for you, Snasky. So you wanted people to predict against you. There you go. And I think flip side takes it. I just don't believe. I just don't believe in the leftovers yet. I just can't. I just don't know why. I just can't. So they'll have to prove me wrong once again. And I got flip side there. But again, like I think honestly, like these two are the top two, and these two would be 3-4. Maybe even Gale Force sneaking in over the leftovers, but the leftovers proved their worth. They beat a Gale Force just less on week 5, so leftovers made it in. So good on them for that. Moving on, third place game. 4-3 reverse sweep from leftovers. Yeah, see, they can reverse sweep in 5. I don't think they can do it in 7. So 3-0 flip side, leftovers will win 1. Carpet will get really upset, and then flip side will win the 4th game to clinch it. All right, Mock It versus leftovers. They just played also in week 5. Again, I've talked about how much I like Mock It. If Mock It plays anywhere close to at least their game 5, they should win this pretty easily. I think they take this one pretty easily. But, again, leftovers will probably surprise. I'll give leftovers 2 wins for this one. They'll put up a fight, and they just played before it, so that helps. But I have Mock It there. In the very important third place match. So you don't have to play the number 1 NA seed, which honestly might be the only team that you should worry about in North America. So that's a very important match for that. They will also have to play the OC number 2 seed, whoever comes in 4th. So we'll see. Northern Gaming versus flip side. The old Classico match in Rocket League terms. Northern Gaming versus flip side. I really like Northern Gaming. I thought that series versus flip side shouldn't have been as close as it was when they just played in week 5. Northern Gaming probably could have won it a little bit more handily. I think Northern Gaming, the curse is broken. Devo is the answer. He is the savior, and they will take the win. And let me fix this up a bit here for you guys. Looks all pretty. There you go. Northern Gaming takes the win in 5. I think Northern Gaming is just a better team. I'm not sold on Flipside even versus Resonant. I'm just not. I just don't know what Flipside we're gonna see. Like even Marky was like, yeah, maybe it's just not our year when they were about to lose the Penta, and then they came back and beat them. But like, we still don't know if it's their year yet. They could be out at this round. Resonant is a good team. They just haven't really shown it on the RLCS stage yet. And again, these teams are going ups and downs, ups and downs. Seems like Resonant, who knows? Maybe they're peaking at the right time. Maybe Flipside. Honestly, I don't know. I've only seen Flipside play good once this season, so who the hell knows? And then Mock It. I'm just going to keep saying Mock It. It's going to be good. Can you explain how the land is going to work with 4 teams from each region and 2 from OC? Apologies if this has been covered. So the way it works is it's a 10-team double elimination bracket. And basically, the 1 seed gets a bye in the upper bracket on both sides, like North America and Europe. And then it'll be the number 4 seed of North America plays the number 1 seed of OCE. Whoever wins that plays the EU number 1. And then we have the opposite. It would be EU number 4 versus OC number 2 plays the number 1 seed in North America. Then after that, whoever loses that game, they also get a bye in the lower bracket. So they move on one step ahead. So basically, whoever loses in the 2-3 matchups, like the North America 2 versus Europe 3, they will have to play the loser of that first round matchup. Most likely OC. Could not be. Who knows? And then whoever wins that will then play against the teams that lost in the 1 versus a possible 4 or possible OCE matchup there. And then after that, it's your normal double elim bracket as you continue through. That's the only rounds that are a little bit strange. So that's that. Let me end the tournament. Maybe this will break things up. I think I broke it. I shouldn't have done that. Good enough. You can kind of see it. But yeah, so that's how that works. Can you show the land bracket based on your predictions? I don't have it up here, but I will. Can I grow a beard before land? No. my beard would look horrible. Just like I can't grow a beard very well. It would be terrible. I can make a quick bracket, I think. Yeah, let's see if I can. I will make it on the assumption that OCE loses both games, just to make it easier for me. I would also predict that they lose both games, but yeah, let me make it real quick. Feel free to ask more questions in chat. And yeah. Bum 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 bum. All right, let's see. And bulk. So we got NG, energy. I'll call him 8 for this one. Who's the 3 seed? Market. 3 seed over there was G2. All right. If this works. All right, so now this is the LAN bracket really quickly. So this is what it would look like if we did it. All right. So again, I'm just making this simpler, not including OC in this, but this is how it would look like if OC lost both their games at the start and also lost both their games towards the end or on the lower side as well. They could surprise. From what I've seen from them, I would still put it that they would lose all those matchups, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So if my bracket works out, be Northern Gaming versus Genesis, Atelier versus Mocket, Energy versus Leftovers, and Flipside versus G2. Flipside probably doesn't want that matchup. They've had that matchup before, and it didn't work out for them, so we'll see. But if I had to go through here, I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but let's just have some fun. We'll speed through it. We got Northern Gaming over Genesis. Really? We'll just say 3-0. It probably wouldn't be 3-0 with Turbo in there. Maybe a 3-1. I still think Northern wins with Turbo over Genesis, but Genesis could win that. Atelier versus Mocket. I got Mocket here. We'll give it a 3-2. Let's have some fun. Energy versus Leftovers. I got Energy here. They will finally beat a Europe team on day 1. That'd be nice for them. We'll go 3-1 here. And then Flipside versus G2. This one's tough because Crow and Rizzo both are pretty good at land, but Flipside obviously is really good at land too. But I will give it 3-1. Flipside. No, I didn't hit the damn clicky thing. But yeah, and so on and so forth. I'll just do the upper bracket quick. Mocket wins this one without Maestro and Northern Game and finally loses on day 1. Energy versus Flipside. I'm going with Energy. I think they could be the saviors. Then we got Mocket. Of course, because I'm saying that they're going to win the whole thing. We'll go with Mocket. And, yeah, they'll win the whole thing. Simple as that. It's over. Boom. Put a fork in it. We're done. Not going to do the lower bracket. But, yeah, you can see down here how it would work out. But, yeah, so that's it for my predictions. How do I think J-Naps will perform at LAN? I don't think J-Naps will have a problem. He's got 2 guys that are very experienced around him at LAN. I think he'll perform fine. He's been performing pretty well all throughout league play. So I don't think the pressure's got to him yet. They might have to like protect him a bit here or there, but I think they'll be fine with J-Naps. I think it comes down to just how they're rotating and stuff, how that's all working out. But Crow's shown it before that he can put in the work and have a really good LAN. So you never know. Can't count him out. But yeah, so that's my bracket there for the LAN. If you have any other questions about Europe, about LAN, whatever, let's do it up. LAN should be really fun, though. I'm really excited. 3-day event. Should be a good time. Hopefully we see a lot of fans. Make sure if you come say hi to me. I usually go down before the show starts, an hour before or so. Hang out with fans for about a half hour. So, like if you want to catch me, that'd probably be a good time. I think there's a caster Q&A at some point. I would assume that would be on a Friday. I honestly have no idea. But I'll be there too. So if you guys are in for that, feel free to come down. Say what my favorite potato dish is. I'll be glad to answer. And yeah, definitely come and have some fun. Or if you're just watching on stream, make sure you have some fun. Maybe make it a viewing party. Have a good old time. Grab some popcorn. There's always tons of upsets at LAN. We've never really had one that has gone perfectly to script. Flipside did win the last one, and they were the favorites, but they had to take a really weird route to get there. So, should be fun to see. And then, of course, North America, they're on home field again. Last time they were on home field, that worked out for them. So you just never know. What makes me so convinced that Mach will win LAN? I haven't seen really any consistent performances from them. Sure, they haven't been consistent, but like they at times have been the best team in Europe plenty of times throughout community tournaments. They have probably some of the best results in community tournaments where they are just like, yeah, sure, we'll just dominate. We'll 4-1 Northern Game and easy in tournaments. Like them and Northern Game are showing up a lot in community tournaments and doing really well. And with Northern Game and losing out on Maestro, I think that helps Mach it even more. Flip side, I'm not sold on them at all this season. So I don't think they have what it takes to win. Leftovers, I'm not sold on either. They're clutch as hell, but I just, eventually does their luck run out? Because it's a little bit of luck, too, obviously, to win all these Game 5s. It's not necessarily, it is clutch, but sometimes you have to get a little lucky. The Gale Force could definitely beat Mach, though. It's very possible. I think Mach can take them down because Gale Force looked really shaky in Week 5. But honestly, if Mach comes out of Europe, to be fair, Europe I don't think is looking that strong. You always have to worry about flip side, and we'll see how their grind goes into before the LAN or even during these 2 weeks. Again, 2 weeks is a long gap. We haven't seen any of these teams play all that much, so you never know. But then Energy, I think, is the only team in North America that is really going to test Europe. G2 could if they get back on the right page, but right now they haven't been. Atelier, maybe. They've surprised me so far this season, so they might be able to, but I think just the speed of Europe is gonna kill them. So I don't think they will take a series off a Europe team unless it's down the bottom versus a leftovers or something, possibly. But we'll see. Let's see what else we got here. How do you predict the OC teams will perform? I don't think they're going to do all that well. From what I've seen, they haven't looked amazing. I haven't seen a lot of Alpha Sydney, though, yet. But we'll see. I don't think they can beat... their best chance is their number 1 versus NA4. But I just don't see it. I don't see it! And who knows, maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe Yummy will come up on the desk and surprise us all. But it's possible. Genesis destroyed Mach the other day in National Tournament. Yep, that's true. That was at what is that? 3 a.m. in the Astro tournament for Mach-It, and they're also playing on East server. So that has something to do with it. But Mach-It has not performed at all in those Astro tournaments. They've never won one. They've come close, but they've never won one. But then they go back to Europe and they kind of manhandle. But again, we don't really know the difference between North America and Europe. Europe looks better, but to be fair, the first season we thought Europe was by far better than North America, and North America wins the whole thing. Second season we thought it was closer, and Europe destroyed everyone. So it's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell. Same with OC. We think that they'll lose, but it's very hard to predict because like play styles clash or change when you have to play these opponents. So you just never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so we'll see. It should be fun though, and that's what's fun about this. Like these are just my predictions. Probably going to be terrible. Probably going to be completely wrong. But yeah, it's fun to do them, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And who do I have winning it all? I have Mocket winning the whole thing. So we'll see. Let's see what else. Did I miss anything else? Yeah, I don't think so. Any more questions? Feel free to throw them out. Irish wristwatch. Boogie Tago. Yeah, but I don't even care how OC plays. It's going to be fun to just have two teams, two fresh faces out there at LAN. It should be a good time out for them and for all the fans that come out from OC, make the long trip. A lot of them made it for the Europe trip, so it's fun to see them. I think Mocket, yeah, they had, like, to be fair, they finished 4-3. They tied Flipside, basically, in that series. They went 2-2 against them. They had the one K-Dop disconnect, so they lost that series. They could have easily been up there as well into a top 2 spot. So Mocket hasn't played extremely terribly throughout this season. They lost to a Northern Gaming, which, you know, is to be expected here or there, but like, sure, they've played a little bit lackluster, and they haven't shown up as much compared to their community tournaments, but they just barely missed out on a top 2 spot. Because of that Flipside series with the K-Dop disconnect, they could have made top 2. So, don't count on Mocket just yet. Don't do it. Do you think G2 can keep up with their pass and plays and make finals? Their pass and plays need work from time to time. Like, I think they're trying to be a little too cute on their pass and plays. Where they try and do them too slow, and I think that's not going to work against like Europe teams or teams like NRG. But it does work here or there against some of the other North American teams. But I think usually JNaps and Rizzo make some really good passing plays. Or when Crow is up and he's trying to cycle back, if either of them hit Crow with a pass, he does a really good job at sending it back in a good spot. But sometimes they just get a little too cute for their own good, and that could cost them. Who do you have as MVP of the LAN? Well, if Mocket's going to win, it's probably going to come from Mocket. I'll give it to Mystic. Mystic showed up huge last LAN. Let's see if he can do it again. I'll give it to Mystic. Why not? He showed up big. He's shown on Mocket at times he can be an offensive powerhouse as well. He gets to show his skills way more than what he used to be able to on Northern Gaming. So I'll give it to Mystic. On a scale of 10 to yes, how excited are you to meet me in LA? Are you bringing me a pair of signed pants, D-Pants? Because then it's a yes. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this rendition of the predictions. We'll see how terribly wrong I am when it all goes down this weekend, guys. Make sure you watch. Make sure you cheer on your favorite players or captains of the teams. Give them some love. And remember that each round matters so much. Like round 1, whoever wins that goes into the World Championships. Then if you make it to the finals, you're automatically guaranteed for Season 4 league play. So that's always nice, no matter what qualifying system happens. So that's really, really important. And then, of course, seeds matter a ton. You want to be a top 2 seed in North America. And in Europe, you want to be the top 2 seeds as well because you want to play the weaker teams whenever possible. So very important games coming up this weekend. Make sure you guys watch it all. Have some fun. What did Mr. Plumbus say? You got to at me, man. Oh, he did. Who would you say is the best new player in the scene this season? Farrah's been playing really well. Fairy Peak at times has been playing well, but not as often. Who else? I was trying to think. I had someone in mind, and then I can't remember the name. Oh, like J-Naps, obviously. He's been really, really good. Why 3 days this land? Well, there's 4 extra games, so we would die otherwise, casting all those games. So they added a little bit more. It's also only best of 5s until the grand finals. Best of 7 for the grand finals. I'll have this in video form. I'm not going to tweet out these because I didn't do a screenshot. So, whatever. But yeah. Have they announced how many bits have been cheered? I don't think they have. Don't know. I think there's some announcements of that this weekend. I have no idea, honestly. I would assume so, though. But yeah. But I'm going out like a day early. I'm going out tomorrow night, actually, which is, I don't know, roughly 8 hours earlier than I usually go out. Or 10 hours earlier, I guess. For a special thingy that you guys will see, I guess, eventually. I don't know when you'll see it. We'll see how that goes. I have no idea. So I'll be going out a little bit early to do that. Yeah. So that should be fun. And I'll be there for the overtime as well. So you guys don't miss me too much. I'll be there. And then, yeah, be back home, waiting a month. And then it's LAN time. It's going to be awesome. LAN's the best time ever. Let me find a host. If you guys got any